Shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine. Hello, this is Nancy Maddox with Shine Your Light Radio Ministry. I'm so excited today. We have such an awesome guest and an awesome person that's going to interview with us, Miss Kayla Gerdes. And she's had just an outstanding testimony to share with us. I'm so excited. We're broadcasting today on WYTV7, Christian Broadcasting Network out of Charlotte, and I'm in Little Rock. So I'm so excited. And Miss Kayla is in New York City. She's a studied justice and education scholar at Columbia University. So I want to introduce Miss Kayla today. Miss Kayla, can you take us back to your childhood where everything started and just give us a little short testimony of what happened to you in your life that got things going for you? And then we're going to progress pretty quickly so we can get to the meat of the story. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Kayla. Everything started for me, I would say, from, my childhood, going through a lot of abuse growing up, molestation, a lot of pain, and just, growing up not really feeling whole or feeling worthy and needing something to fill me, to make me feel whole, whether temporary or, anything. So by the time I was 11, I was on drugs, and it progressed rather fast because by the time I was 13, I had ACS, taking me out of my house and putting me into a diagnostics center, which then they transferred me into a rehab. So by the time I was 13, I was in a therapeutic community, and I stayed there for 2.5 years. And then at 16, I was back on drugs. This time I was on a lot heavier drugs like opiates and, just any kind of drug, anything to escape myself I would do. I didn't shoot heroin or smoke crack, but I was on my way to being, a full blown out junkie, and there's stigmas against that, but I'm not ashamed to say that, that would have been me. And, I was really bad. I, was stealing prescription pads. I was just living this life of, I thought that I was, like Scarface or something. You see these movies where these people, they're, selling drugs, doing drugs, and they just think that gives them this purpose. And, I didn't think any more of myself than to just be, a person doing drugs. And, do you want me to get into like that part of my story yet?
Miss Kayla, yes, I would like to ask another question. You were just in a dark place at such a young age. It's really devastating, but it happens very frequently. That's why I'm so excited about you sharing your story. You can reach out to so many people that are in that position and just in such a dark place at such a young age. You were still a child at that point in time. So anyway, so tell us about that fateful day in 2010 when your story really when your down spiral really started. Okay.
Well, in 2010, I was 18 years old, and I was, at the rock bottom of my addiction. I had been arrested several times. My mother was, trying anything to get me into a rehab to save my life because I was literally, on the verge of death. So I was on my way to court, and I was with a guy, and, he was under the influence, and so was I from the night before. And, his driving was just no good. We couldn't get to the destination, so I took over the wheel of the vehicle, and I ended up crashing. And when I crashed, I, just thought that I crashed into a house. Hours later, when, because the police had come and, it was this whole thing, I'm thinking, all right, I crashed in this house. I have all these drugs on me. And, hours later, the police give me a phone and the lawyer tells me, oh, the person that you hit is dead. And I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, like my whole world. I was like, oh my God, like I'm like a murderer, like, oh my God, I'm screaming. I'm like, oh my God, like my everything, just stopped right there. And from that moment on, things just got progressively worse, because not only, was it that somebody is dead, but that the police, because this became a media case so fast, because I was this 18-year-old girl, a white girl, and, suburban, and I have all these drugs on me. I'm on all these drugs. So they just took that and ran with it. Like, okay. And, the van was in a house and the woman was a doctor. So it progressed so fast. I mean, it became national in that night. The accident was in the morning. By that night, it was all over the news. So, to make matters worse and to add to the pain of this story for everybody involved, and I called my mother, I'm like, screaming and crying. Like, it was really, like I was at that moment, like just like my whole world was over, and I didn't know what the case was, what this house was going to happen. I'm literally thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be charged with murder. And, my mother was trying to calm me down, and she was like, thank God that wasn't a child. And, I'm not going to lie, for the moment that made me feel better. Like in my moment of like, oh my God, it was like, okay, well, thank God that this wasn't a child. And, and I said that, and that was the biggest mistake I could have ever made in my life, was to say something like that, because it was taken and flipped. And by the next day, it was that I said I didn't care because the lady was old. And I'm like, oh my God. And I, looking back, after almost 7 years, I understand why I should have never said that, but I never meant it that way. That's why it's so important to be careful what you say, because you just never know. And especially in a sensitive situation like that. But so it became very, sensationalized right away. And it was a very, very, very extremely dark time in my life, because I felt very alone. During my whole case, I had a lot of people against me, you junkie killer monster. It was just always, that I'm a killer, and that, I'm a horrible person. And I'm like, I didn't even know this woman. Like, I would never hurt anybody. Like in my darkest days, the only person that like I was ever trying to, I was so selfish. I never even thought of other people. I was just consumed in my own pain, but to hurt somebody and to have, somebody dead, it was really devastating. And, I was facing a long time. They were really trying to hit me with the max, because this became a media case. So throughout that time when I was in jail, because I fought my case for about 2 years and 3 months, that's when I, had my awakening, and that's when I really started this vision for who I am now. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about that. I went to solitary.
Kayla?
Yes.
Kayla, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to ask you another question before we go to move on. It's such a sad story, and for it to have national notoriety is even made it worse on you. So any word you said would have actually been taken and blown all out of proportion. But I would like to say that we're broadcasting from WYTV7, the Christian Broadcasting Network in Charlotte. And we have as our guest, a very special guest, Kayla Gerdes. And she is sharing her story, which had national attention. So I'm going to resume back with Miss Kayla. Miss Kayla, you also said in one of the articles that I read that you use my pain as my purpose. So can you kind of elaborate just a few sentences on that?
Yeah, well, through, and I was, because of what happened, and while I was in jail, while I had, this awakening of realizing that, okay, I'm in a position right now because this is national and because this is so painful, and I never would have saw myself in such a rock bottom. I found myself in solitary confinement for 45 days where I was forced to get off drugs. And I had this awakening of like, you know what? Let me let God use this. And that was really what it was. I was like, because, I was definitely into God a lot more, focusing more on the Bible. When you're in jail, you're definitely more connected because in a sense, it's like, that's the only hope you have. It's like, okay, let me get in this Bible. Let me know God however I can know God, because I didn't know God before jail. I grew up Christian, but I never knew the actually like the connecting. So I would read things and it was just saying like, okay, the present time, like there's no comparison for the suffering that you're going through right now because the glory that will be revealed. So it was like these little things that made me hold on to say, you know what? I have such a powerful story and this is so negative. Let me turn it around for positive. Let me make the best of this. Let me do something with my time and just show myself and also like there's somebody that's dead here. Let me not let this person's life be taken in vain. So that really gave me like tunnel vision, and it gave me that light at the end of the tunnel, because I was about to do maybe 15 years and even more. So I just started to realize that I have been through a lot of pain in my life, a lot of darkness, and maybe I was meant to go through that darkness and bring other, get out of it so that I can bring other people out of that same darkness, because people listen to people who have been through it, and I was able to really touch a lot of lives, especially in prison, because in jail, it was really hard for people to look past the stigma of what the media was saying about me. So, they'd be one of my bunkmates or cell, in the same jail and in the same dorm, and they'd see a certain person, but then they, see a newspaper, or we turn on the news and here I was on the news. So it was very, confusing and hard for people to be receptive of me, because they were thinking that I'm not who I say I am, that I'm a monster. So when I went to prison, I would really just talk to people, and I was into my education, and I was just always like trying to uplift people to say like, you know what, like there's a purpose for this, and we can really make changes in the world and in people's lives by sharing our stories, because our stories have so much power to help transform the life of other people. Because, there's no greater feeling than somebody who is going through something and then meets somebody or hears a message from someone who says, you know what, I was once in your shoes. I was once there. I know exactly what you're going through, and I'm here to tell you that you're going to get through it. And that to me, it transforms lives. It changes people. It helps relieve their pain.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Kayla. You are sure a breath of fresh air. You are a beacon of light to everyone that hears your story. I absolutely love it. And I wanted you to talk a little bit too about your cause that you're in, the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. You're very active in this council, and I'm so excited for you to tell us about this, because this is how we will spread the word to the country and really internationally through WYTV7 Christian Broadcasting Network in Charlotte. So would you elaborate a little bit about the National Council?
Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls is a national council of formerly incarcerated women who are now leaders, who are literally, and we're all in different states, and we all do our work, on our own, but then we come back as a collective and support each other's work. And literally, it's so empowering, so inspiring. And, we're very active, and we're not asking, we're telling you that you cannot sit down and make laws or policies or have discussion about incarcerated or formerly incarcerated women and girls without one of us at the table. Our motto is nothing about us without us. And we know we have let them see that we are the experts here, and that in order to make changes in the criminal justice system, not only do people who have degrees and who have the power to sit at the table and make these decisions, they are just a part of who needs to be at that table. We need to be at that table. We need to be making these laws and letting our stories be teaching tools for other people to see how some of these systems are failing. So we're dedicated to really, bringing a massive change into the system and putting women's voices and showing how powerful women are, because women aren't really, or weren't really, in the conversation about incarceration. They were kind of, put to the side. And it's not fair, because you know what, at the end of the day, when you send a woman to prison, you are destroying families. You're taking away the nurturer and the provider, because a woman, you give us a house, we turn it into a home. We are, and it's not to discredit men, because, with sending men to prison also, it ruins families as well. But imagine both now. How are these kids, growing up? So it's so important to have us at the table, and we've really made so many strides. The council is a brand new organization. It's not even 2 years old, and I came in when it was about 1 month old, and it fuels me to see all these women who have been in so much pain just turn that pain and be, oh God, I'm gonna get emotional, but just to see all these women who, they have so much pain and they've been through so much, and they just said, no, I'm not gonna let that pain go in vain. I'm gonna take it and I'm going to use it to fuel and empower people. And I look around at them and I'm just in awe, because they didn't have to do that. Nobody has to exploit themselves, because it's painful to relive this all the time. And just the dedication and commitment, and the person, the founder, Andrea James, she just received a human rights award. Like, the things that these women are doing, I encourage anybody to check out the council, thecouncil.us. Get involved. We invite everyone in to, especially formerly incarcerated. But if you want to get involved, you don't have to be formerly incarcerated to get involved in the council. It's just about all of us supporting each other and collectively coming together and coming up with new ideas that are human and rooted in compassion and loving and support, because our systems are so not like that. So we're just really, I'm so excited to even just to think about even the next 3 months, the progress that the council is going to make, and the members that we have. And,
Wow.
We're just national. We have people from Alaska. Just had a, and it's beautiful.
I love it, Miss Kayla. Your passion is so contagious. I have already joined the council, and today is National Women's Day too. So that's kind of an exciting time for us to be recording your show. I'm so excited. We only have a few minutes left, so I would like for you to please talk very briefly about your behind the bars recharge reentry game that you brought into the prison system. So if you could chat real quickly about that, we only have a few minutes left, that would be great.
Wait.
There you go.
Hello? Sorry. Okay. So the recharge game, I am the, what would I call it? The outreach director for this game called Recharge. And it is an interactive healing tool. I actually have it right in front of me. That's how near and dear it is to me. But I could actually read you something from the back which says straight from what this is, like how, actually no, I'm gonna talk from my heart. I'm not even gonna read that. But it's basically, it is an interactive healing tool for people, and it's not only for formerly incarcerated, it's for incarcerated, formerly incarcerated veterans. It has reached everywhere, and people are really able, the questions in this game, it allows people to heal and to open up and to think about things that they wouldn't normally think about, because these questions, elicit a certain response that, you don't ask every day. It's matters of the heart. And, I don't want to take credit and say I brought it into the prison system, because I haven't. I've become the outreach director, and I'm starting to mobilize it, but I cannot take credit for anywhere that it has gone yet. So I don't want to, make any mistakes there of, taking credit. But it's a really powerful healing tool, and I encourage people to play it. And it is in the prison systems, but I can also, I'm about to use it for a study that I started with Columbia University. I'm doing a research study on the effects that incarceration has on people. And I'm going to be using this as, the tool. So this just goes to show how this can be used in so many forms, and even to help make a change, because my ultimate goal of this research study is to get post-incarceration syndrome into the DSM. So for this game to be able to help facilitate that to happen just shows the power, the transformative power of it. And we're going to make a women and girls recharge game that I will help create. And I'm going to collaborate with the council, and some of the girls will all sit down. And, it's amazing to have, these different things that are helping us heal. And it just goes to show that ideas, because the woman that made this was just an idea. So it just goes to show you that when you have an idea that's so genuine and pure to helping people, follow through with it. Because people, bashed it for her, like, oh, that's so corny. Why would you do a game? And it's helping people all over.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm so excited, Miss Kayla. I appreciate you so much. This is going to air internationally, and I'm just praying that the word will spread, that your time that the information that you've shared with us will go international. You are a beacon of light. You are so precious, and I'm so excited for you and what you're doing. Could you just give us a few little details about how we can reach you one more time, so we can put that on the video?
Absolutely. You can reach me by email at Kayla Rita Gerdes, KaylaRitaGerdes @gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook, Kayla Gerdes, and yeah, or Instagram, Kayla_Gerdes.
And then give us the webpage for the council one more time too.
The council's website is thecouncil.us. Again, thecouncil.us. And if you want information on the recharge game, go to, I would say, is it recharge.com? Actually, you could contact me and there will be a link. I don't have it on me right here, but look it up as well, the recharge game. It really helps people all over, and it's easy to facilitate.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You've been listening to WYTV7 in Charlotte, the Christian Broadcasting Network, and Miss Kayla Gerdes has given us an awesome testimony, and thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Shine, shine your light, shine, shine, shine your light, shine, shine.